Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with actor, writer, and the host of Horror's Hallowed Grounds, Mr. Sean Clark. Sean, how are you doing today?
Oh, not too bad. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How did you come up with the idea for Horror's Hallowed Grounds?
Oh, wow. Well, it was God, it's roughly about 10 years ago. Actually, might even, yeah, about 10 years ago. I was reading an article in Fangoria magazine written by Anthony Ferrante, who actually just recently directed Sharknado. He had written a retrospective on Halloween, and within the article, there was mention of South Pasadena, and there was mention of a street name, Orange Grove. And it then dawned on me, wow, I could probably go find these places. This was shot in California, and I live in California. And so I kind of set out on a journey to try to find these places, and accidentally stumbled upon. The first thing I found was the hardware store, and I looked right across the street, and there was the Myers house. And from that moment on, I think I was hooked because it just like it gave me a sense of. I've always been a very nostalgic person, and I've always been somebody who I've moved a lot as a kid. Didn't stay in the same place very long. Went to probably 7, 8 different schools. So I've always enjoyed going back and visiting old childhood homes and my schools and stuff like that. And I kind of feel like these film locations that we grew up with, they give you that same sense, that same feeling when you go there. It's like a sense of nostalgia, like you've been there before, even though you haven't, because you've seen them so many times on screen. You feel like they're a part of your childhood. And I just really got a kick out of doing it, and it just became a hobby and kind of a passion.
Now, what was the first episode of Horror's Hallowed Grounds that you did?
Well, here's the thing. The first the first real thing I did was Halloween. I went out. I did Halloween, Halloween 2, and Halloween 3 with a friend of mine, a video camera, and we just basically filmed us walking around being stupid and edited in crudely, really crudely edited in clips from the movies, and ended up selling that videotape online. Like it was basically kind of like if Horrors Hall Grounds was a band, this was our demo. So it was kind of like our demo tape that got out there, and to my surprise, I sold quite a bunch of them, and I know it's been bootlegged over the years. People come up to me and tell me, I've got that first video you did, and that's where it started. It didn't officially start until I was a journalist writing for the Horror Channel, which was a website. It never became a real channel, but it was just a website. At the time, it was horrorchannel.com. And I pitched the idea to them. They liked it, so we started doing it as an online article. And I think the first one, I honestly can't remember what the very first one was. It might have been Halloween. I, I want to say it probably was, but I know that when it finally went into print, when Horror Hound approached me, which was right in the beginning of Horror Hound, because they had only done 3 issues at that point. I've had a Horrors Hall Grounds article in every issue since issue number 4. But I remember issue number 4, my very first Horrors Hall Grounds article, I think, was The Fog.
Oh, wow. And speaking of the fog, that was just released where you did a video of locations from the fog.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to say that I actually really like that, and that's one of my favorite ones that I've seen so far.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, I was really, I've never been happy with my article on the fog because I hadn't really honed my craft yet. I hadn't really started. Actually, you know what? I'm just looking back here. I was incorrect. I think the fog was my first online article, but my first article on Horror Hound was Poltergeist. So I just verified that while we were talking. But I never, since that was my very first article I ever did online, which was the fog. I I didn't have it down yet. I wasn't thinking about getting the camera angles the same and stuff like that. So I've always wanted to go back and redo it. And when the Shout Factory thing, that opportunity presented itself, I was like, oh yeah, I absolutely want to do that because I want to do it right this time, and I'll do it even better. I'll do it as a TV show.
Now, how did you get involved with Shout Factory and having? I think I have 3 or 4 different movies that you have a Horror's Hallowed Grounds on.
Yeah, so far I've done 5, and 4 have been released. I did Halloween 2, Halloween 3, The Howling, and The Fog. And before that, I did Halloween 1 on the Halloween 25 Years of Terror DVD, and I did Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1 on the Never Sleep Again, the Nightmare Legacy DVD. So those are how many of the TV episodes, although I did do a Texas Chainsaw Massacre episode that's never been released. So I do have that, but I don't think it'll ever see the light of day except for YouTube or something. But the Shout Factory thing, that was basically, I don't know exactly who spoke to who first, but that was something that came together between Michael Felcher of Red Shirt Pictures and Jeff Nelson from Shout Factory. They talked, and somehow I got brought up, and I think maybe I got brought up because they were doing Halloween 2 and 3, and they needed to get a hold of all those actors, and they knew that I worked with pretty much all of them. So it was one of those things. Well, hey, I think it was probably the kind of thing like, hey, he does this Horror's Hallowed Grounds thing. It's kind of cool. If we let him do it for the DVD, I bet you he'll give us full cooperation with getting everybody we need. You know what I mean? So that's probably what happened. I mean, nobody's ever told me that, but that's probably what happened. And based on Shout Factory's initial reaction to my episodes that I turned in, I kind of think that probably was what happened, because when they received Halloween 2 and 3, they didn't seem to know what they were getting. They were a little shocked by it. I don't think it was what they were anticipating. They definitely had some issues with the content and my language, and they were a little nervous about it, quite honestly. I had to cut a few things. We've compromised. They were still a little nervous about it. It was very rocky in the beginning, but I think the incredible positive feedback from reviewers, DVD reviewers, and the fans in general made them breathe a sigh of relief and say, okay, oh wait, all right, cool. People like this. Okay, good. We can do some more, Because, I think they thought it was a little risque at first. So I've honestly tried to tone down my language a bit. I tend to talk the way I talk, I mean, I don't really think ahead of time I'm going to curse, it just comes out the way it comes out sometimes, So.
Hey. Going back a little bit, you did a Horror's Hallowed Grounds on the Nightmare on Elm Street documentary, Never Sleep Again.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a convention where a person who was a celebrity asked me a question that I told him I wanted to meet you, and he said if I see you to ask you when there's going to be a Horror's Hallowed Grounds on Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Gee, I wonder who that was. You know what? I mean, quite honestly, I would absolutely do a Nightmare on Elm Street 2 episode if there was somebody putting one out that, like if I got approached to do one, I would do the whole franchise, I would do all of them. Basically, with Horror's Hallowed Grounds, I've never pursued it as the TV show. I was one of the people that did the Halloween 25 Years of Terror documentary, so I was behind the scenes putting that whole thing together. And one day Malik Akkad, I was in Malik's office, and he said to me, we need some more bonus features for this. We need to really stack this release. And I had been doing the online article. I'd always thought it would be a cool idea for a show because, I did that cheesy video way back when with my friends. So I said, hey, I've got this idea. I pitched it to him. He said, that sounds cool. I need it in 2 weeks. And I'm like, what? I need a finished product in 2 weeks. So I had 2 weeks to figure it out, film it, edit it, and turn it in. So it was really rushed, but it turned out pretty good. I was happy with it. And I never, like I said, I never tried to pursue it to be a series or anything. I was approached by FearNet at one point early on, right after the Halloween episode. Somebody over there saw it and dug it, and they approached me, and they told me it was going to happen, and then it just never happened. But I never fought for it. I never really tried to get it picked up as a series. I kind of feel like if you watch what I do, the only people that get it are the horror fans. I mean, I've shown episodes to my mom and dad, and they sit there staring at it blankly when the jokes happen because they don't get the jokes because they don't know the movies, you know? And that's the problem with studios and networks, and they would watch what I do, and they would be like, I really don't get it. This is supposed to be funny. What is this? And it doesn't go over. So, and I knew that if anybody wanted it as a series, it would end up getting watered down. It would end up becoming something different that's not what it is, and I wouldn't be happy. So I always just decided, you know what? If somebody wants me to do one, I'll do one, but I'm not gonna fight for it. So the Shout Factory thing was just a pleasant surprise because I have such a great relationship with them, because those guys, Cliff and Jeff over at Shout Factory, are like you and me. They're horror fans, and they get it, you know? So they're on board, and they're pretty much up for me doing episodes on anything. At this point, if their budget allows, they've kind of given me, an open book to do what I want. Here's what's coming out. Which ones do you want to do? I'd love to do them all, but it's impossible. I'm just too busy. I'm a super, super busy guy, traveling all the time. There's no way. It's hard enough to do the ones that I do, but I definitely have some more in the works, and pretty excited about a few of them that are coming up.
Switching gears here, you wrote The Black Waters of Echo's Pond, which I think just had a DVD release this week.
No. Yes and no. Yes, I did write it. I wrote, produced it, edited it, wore many hats on that film. But it's coming out from Anchor Bay on September 10th.
Oh.
Yeah. Blu-ray and DVD September 10th. It'll be in Best Buy. It'll be in Walmart. We're also doing at Horror Hound Weekend, horrorhoundweekend.com. We're gonna do a big Black Waters sort of release thing there. It's September, I think, 5th, 6th, and 7th in Indianapolis. Myself, Daniel Harris, Elise and Electra Avion, twins, and James Duvall, we're all gonna be there. And if you buy the Blu-ray or DVD there, which we'll be offering it a couple days early, if you buy it there, you get a free mini poster, and you also get a free alternate cover. That we're going to have a special alternate artwork cover only available at this show, and everybody will sign it for free. If you buy the DVD there, they will sign it for free. So
nice. Now, was it weird going from Horror's Hallowed Grounds, writing that, to writing a full-length feature?
Not really. I mean, because quite honestly, it's so different. I mean, Horror's Hallowed Grounds, I've never really written Horror's Hallowed Grounds as a script, as a show. It's just an article. It's just information, and it's pretty easy. This is where this was, and this is what happened. I mean, it's kind of simple. I've never tried to make it too fancy. And as far as the show, the TV show, it's not scripted. I do everything spontaneous. I mean, I walk into a situation knowing what I'm going to talk about, but I don't script it. The stuff that's semi-scripted is the stuff between me and Russell. I mean, basically we come up with an idea and we improv. I mean, it's just improvisation. And usually we get some pretty funny stuff. But as far as the movie, I had been writing scripts since about '99 and had a couple options. Nothing ever happened. And yeah, writing scripts is it's a whole nother animal, man. It's not easy. It's hard. It's stressful, and I enjoyed it. I loved it. I want to do more. I want to do more films. I have other rough drafts right now. I haven't pursued it. Nothing. There hasn't been anything since Black Waters that's like, oh, I guess that he's one and done, or I haven't tried to pursue another film since Black Waters. I've had opportunities actually, but I've passed on them because I've been too busy with Convention All Stars or Horror's Hallowed Grounds, or all that stuff has been so time consuming, and I'm doing so well with all of it that I kind of said, you know what, I can always do a movie later, So I'm hoping to get back to it at some point.
All right. Is there anything you'd like to promote before I let you go?
Well, let's see. I guess if you can go out and grab the Black Waters of Echoes Pond on September 10th, unless you're coming to the Horror Hound Weekend Convention, definitely come by and grab a copy and get all the extra goodies and get it signed and everything. You can follow me on Twitter at Malfunction. That's MALFUNCSEAN. And on Facebook, facebook.com/Sean Clark Official. Because my personal account is at its limit, so I had to start one of those goofy fan pages. And I believe, even though the HorrorsHallowedGrounds.com website is not happening, I believe it gets redirected to the Facebook page, so you can always go that route. And other than that, I'll be at the the Hobby Star Toronto Expo Comic-Con this weekend in Toronto, Canada. That's also where they have the Festival of Fear thing for Rue Morgue. And I'll also be at, I guess the next one after that is Horror Hound Weekend, and then the weekend after that, Scarefest in Lexington, Kentucky. I'll probably, if we don't sell all of the Black Waters DVDs and Blu-rays at Horror Hound, I'll probably bring whatever's left over to Lexington, and maybe we'll have a couple of those extras left over. I don't know. We'll see. I got a feeling we're going to sell out at Horror Hound, but you never know.
All right. Thank you for your time, Sean.
Hey, man, I appreciate it.